Hi, everybody. We are going to record our employee training. For today, the topic is delivery and transport and food defense. So, we're going to go through this training. It won't take very long, but want to make sure that we cover all the important topics. I'm going to share a screen and get us started. All right. So, let me make this full screen. Okay. So again, today we're going to cover delivery and transport procedures, and this is going to be for employee training or worker training for harmonized GAP certification. So the first thing we want to do is a quick overview of storage and transportation best practices. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture has a number of really good and short GAP videos on their website. We're going to just play this one. It's only about 2 minutes today.
The process of getting safe and clean food to the market and dinner tables continues as we follow produce out of packing and into storage and transport. Let's take a look. When produce is moved from a packing facility to storage or transport, it should be clean and free of contaminants. The goal is to keep it that way. Consider the role of produce containers. A dirty container could contaminate the produce and eventually make people sick. That's why each container should be clean, kept off the ground, and covered to reduce risk. Equipment like forklifts and pallets should also be clean and working properly. When produce happens to touch the floor, it should be disposed of and employees should be trained on what to do. Produce storage rooms should not have contaminants, litter, or standing water. Chemicals, pesticides, and wastewater should be kept away from produce and storage areas at all times. Further, cleaning and maintenance should be performed and consistently recorded. When produce is stored in refrigerated rooms, temperatures should be monitored, checked for accuracy, and documented regularly. And remember, condensation from refrigeration units can be a source of contamination and should be kept away from produce. As you know, produce is delicious to more than humans. To prevent harboring pests, walls, floors, and ceilings should not have major cracks. In addition, a pest control program should be in place and documented on a regular basis. Water can be a common source of contamination. Any water or ice used with produce should be of the same quality used for drinking. And just like the packing facility, people are a risk. Employee areas should be clean, and break areas should be located away from produce storage. Rules about using hair and beard nets apply to both employees and visitors. Now, let's focus on the transport and delivery of produce. First, the transport vehicle or container should be inspected to ensure it's clean and in good condition. For refrigerated loads, trucks or containers should be kept at the right temperature during transport. And remember, if a problem occurs, your consistent records on cleaning and maintenance can help you trace the problem back to the source and minimize risks and financial losses. Next, we'll follow the produce to wholesale facilities and warehouses.
Okay, so we're actually going to move on to the next slide because we are not ready to talk about warehouses yet. But a couple of things just to remember. As far as your packing, make sure that you're checking your packing materials before you use them, ensuring that they're clean, free of debris. There's no little bit of roach poop in there or lizard poop or anything like that. You should also be verifying the cleanliness of your shipping unit. That's your vehicle that you're transporting in. So make sure that your vehicle is clean, is free of debris, doesn't have anything stinky in it. And you should have a written policy in your farm plan that outlines this, as well as a procedure for checking the vehicle and a checklist that you can check off. Very simple. That should already be in your farm plan, so you can review that as an additional part of training. If you are using coolers to transport your product, they of course should be clean and sanitized before you use them. You should have that logged on your cleaning and sanitizing log sheet. If you're using ice in your coolers, Make sure that that is made with clean water. So drinking water level for that ice. You can make that ice yourself if you have a record of your water, or you can purchase it again, ensuring that it is clean, potable water. If you are using a refrigerated vehicle, best practice is to cool that vehicle down before you put your product in there. So you want to make sure that you start it up and get it going ahead of time. Record your temperature when you are loading your product into it, and then when you arrive at your delivery site. If you are doing the post harvest scope in Harmonized Gap, this is a requirement. This can all be recorded in Heavy Connect. If you are having trouble finding any of the records there, please let us know. We'll help you figure out where they are. Your loading procedures when you're putting your product into your vehicle, making sure that you are minimizing any potential damage to or contamination of your produce. So just taking care if you are stacking items that they are appropriate, the packaging material is appropriate to be stacked, and that the items are covered. Anything that you're using to assist you in this process, whether that's a hand truck or a forklift, you want to make sure that that's clean and well maintained. And this should be recorded as well. Any equipment that you're using in this process will be listed, should be listed on your master document log, and it will outline when that equipment is supposed to be cleaned. If you do any maintenance on the equipment, for example, on your forklift, or if you get a new hand truck because the other one broke down or something like that, broke apart, we want to make sure that we note that so that we have good, consistent records of what we're doing, what's happening to our loading or unloading equipment. So again, Heavy Connect shows you where you can do these logs. Very, very simple. So we're going to go through that right now. You have the Heavy Connect app on your phone. When you pull that up, you should find the delivery log. That is in the field section. You're going to hit that plus button, and that's going to take you to your log. And for this one, you're just going to go through your questions. Did you make sure it's clean? Is it well maintained, etc.? And then add your signature. So very, very easy. Again, this gives you the option of having a two-person verification. So if you want to make sure that your employees are properly filling this out, you can have them fill it out as the field manager, and you can fill it out, for example, as the supervisor or the inspector. Oops, gonna move on from that one. So we're going to talk a little bit about food defense now. This is the other half of today's training. Food defense is a really important piece here now added to Harmonized Gap. It is basically looking at the potential for unauthorized access to your growing area, your packing area, and how that might impact your food safety. So what we're really talking about is how secure is your area, and what are the measures that you're taking to make sure that it stays secure. So your site security practices could be anything from using fencing or locked gates to actually having security on the property. For example, if you're in an ag park, you may have security. You may have game cameras, something like that. So in your farm plan, we are going to outline this. So you should have some specifics written in there. You can share that with your employees following this training. You can also talk about other ways that you might minimize the potential for unauthorized access. Also, in your farm plan, and as a requirement of Harmonized Gap, you should have an emergency response plan. That's to be written as part of your farm plan. And this essentially is outlining what is your procedure if a security event happens that might result in an impact to food safety. For example, someone comes onto your farm and you believe that they may have sprayed something onto your crop, or they've broken into your packing shed and stuff is all over the place. You think that they may have touched your product. You don't know exactly what they did. So anything like that would require a written procedure on how you're going to respond to this event. Any actions that you take to reduce the risks to your product would be documented on your dangerous incident log. If a security event did actually happen, that's where you want to record that. And in that case, we would also have an action item list. So here's the response. This is what we did. And also, what did you do with that crop? In most cases, you're going to be throwing that away, discarding it. If you don't know what happened to it, there is the potential there for contamination. You should review these procedures with your crew so that they know if something does happen, especially in your absence, they know how to handle that and to write everything down. We definitely want a record of anything that's suspicious activity on the farm, especially if it relates to an impact on food safety. That's the conclusion of this training. That's it. Very simple. We want to just remind you guys to record this as a worker training in Heavy Connect. So again, going into your Heavy Connect app, go to your worker training or employee training log. When it comes to the name of the trainer, you can put myself, Lisa Roden, and then you're going to put the employees who were present today for this training. You can put full names or initials, whichever works best. Include the topics of the training for today. That was delivery and transport procedures. A description of that would be storage and transport best practices, the HDOA gap video, and procedures, review how to log in Heavy Connect. You also would include the topic of food defense. The description for that is how you assess measures to prevent unauthorized access and reviewing your emergency response plan procedures. Don't forget to put the training date. That's very important. And have those signatures added there. You can have folks sign in, or you can create a sign in sheet and take a picture of that if you want to. That's it for today's training. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here, and hopefully you'll be finding this all useful. Please let us know if there are any other topics that we can add to our rotation. Aloha.